Hey everyone, it's Joe, and my video today goes out to all the ladies out there. And no, I'm not asking you to be my Valentine's Day date, but I think there's a lot of good information here for guys, but I really just want to address this to those of the female persuasion. And if you've read any of my blog posts or anything, then you know that I respect you and treat you with dignity. So know that any information that I give out here, I'm only doing to try and foster an understanding between the sexes. I always speak what's on my mind, but I'm not doing that out of any sort of hatred or bitterness or anything like that. I'm a person that gets annoyed a lot, but I'm not a bitter person. So, with that being said, um, you know, I hate it when, and I think a lot of guys hate it when women think that they have guys figured out and that they know exactly what their thought process is and how their minds work. Like, guys, we just admit that we don't have a clue what's going on inside a woman's head and that we're never going to figure it out. So, why is it that so many women then think that they have guys exactly figured out and that they can just predict them? Like, we're wired differently, but that doesn't mean that we're any more easy to predict or definitely not any less intelligent, because that really doesn't have that much to do with what gender you are. Um, Really, the crux of what I want to get down to is I saw a video a while back about it was actually a guy discussing what he saw as his definition of nice guys and why nice guys can't, what guys consider themselves as nice can't ever get girls. And I think he had a lot of good points in his video, but I also think he kind of came off as just trying to score points with women so that they'd all just jump on and be like, yeah, that's right, yeah, just preach it, man. And then, of course, he'd score points with him. But I'm not that kind of person, so I'm gonna kind of give my own interpretation on, people can't be labeled. It's not so easy to label people because, like, I know a lot of dumb people, but even the dumbest people are still complicated enough that you can't just throw them into a category. So to say, well, he's a jerk or he's a nice guy, that's not what everyone is defined by. And even what you would label as a nice guy, which has been a really skewed definition, there's all kinds of different sorts of those people, and they all may be looking for different things. So, coming from a guy's perspective, hopefully this will help to clear things up, perhaps. And guys, definitely listen in on this too, because if you're one of these that um, that I'll get into later that is a fake, get your act together. I'm just gonna be real honest with you. Sorry, I do have notes written down because I don't rehearse things very much. Girls don't like guys complaining about girls dating jerks. Like, well, guys always just go to this argument that girls always date jerks and they never date any nice guys. And girls have a point, definitely, because there's two different sides to this for a guy. On the one hand, there are guys that are looking way too hard to get a girlfriend, they're looking way too hard to pick up girls, and therefore when they fail at this, then they look around and say, well, they just do that because these girls they just want to date jerks. And they just use that as an excuse for the fact that they're a loser. On the other hand, I mean, give our argument some credit. There are a lot of girls that do date jerks. Now, I'm not the kind of person that, like I said earlier, that generalizes into every category, or that will just throw a person into this. So no, I'm not going to say, well, all girls date jerks. No. I have plenty of guys that I've known that are great guys, that are nice guys, like legitimately nice guys, that are friendly guys, and they have girlfriends. I have female friends and, well, kind of relatives, that, you know, when they bring their boyfriends around or whatever, I'm like, he's a decent guy. So no, not all girls date jerks, but it does seem to be somewhat of a prominent thing, and that is what always drives guys crazy when they see this pattern in some girls, not all, but some, and they say, well, and again, since we don't know how the female mind works, we don't know why they do it, but we see them bring them around and we're just like, why do you want to be treated that way? We don't understand it. And then they completely ignore the way this guy acts, and then all of a sudden it's a breakup, and oh, look how he hurt me. And then 2 weeks later, they're dating another jerk, and then they repeat that whole cycle, and then guess who has to hear about it? Yeah, a lot of times girls, but a lot of times guys too. And then what do we always hear? All guys are the same. What are we supposed to do? So, if you don't want to hear the saying that all girls date jerks, do your part and don't date a jerk. Unless, of course, that's just what you're into, and then whatever. Yeah, I understand that some guys make that argument for their own selfish reasons, and some of us make it because we get sick of hearing girls complaining about it. And also, as I'll see later on, we also do it because it legitimately saddens us that they constantly put themselves through that. Because some of us actually do care. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Now we've seen the jerks. Now those that are openly jerks, they're pretty easy to stay away from. But now we have different categories of nice guys. We can't just define it as a nice guy, because everyone would define what a nice guy is differently. So, taking it from a guy, I've thought about this for a while, and I can think of about 4 different types of nice guys. So the first category of nice guy, and I'm giving you the bad news first, is someone that's just trying to play you. This guy is only nice because he wants something from you. You're like, oh gee, now we get. I mean, you see this all the time too. I mean, yeah, you'll have like the occasional jerk that is like an openly a jerk, but a lot of times it's jerks that disguise themselves as nice guys because they want something. And how am I ever supposed to spot that? Well, sometimes it's hard. I mean, sometimes they even trick us. or sometimes we just don't care because, it's our buds. But, eventually you'll get better, at least I would think so, at spotting who is a fake. But I mean, and even initially, they may be able to deceive you at first, but when it comes to their motivations, when it comes to their eventual actions, that's when you can tell whether they're legitimate or not. Like, if a guy's being nice to you, and I mean, relationships should be two ways, so it's not that he shouldn't be asking for anything in return, but as in, he's basically, if there's a guy that is trying to get something out of it, as in, like, he's trying to take you to bed, or he is just trying to show off in front of his friends, be like, oh, this is my woman, check this out. That's when you know that he's just playing you and he's just acting nice so that he can reap the own benefits from this relationship. So that, at the very latest, is when you should be able to spot who is the first type of fake nice guy. The second type of fake nice guy would be the guy that is not a jerk, but he is kind of needy. And these are the guys that I would say they either get rejected or friend zoned. And that's another thing. That whole friend zone thing, like, it goes both ways. Like, sometimes, well, that's also getting ahead of myself, because sometimes that's all guys want to be your friends. And sometimes that's all girls want to be your friends. But sometimes, anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, the other type of fake nice guy. So these are the guys that are like, they're really needy, and they also want something, but it's not want something as in, let me show you off, let me take you to bed kind of want something. It's like, they're just looking for this relationship. They're looking for this perfect girl. They're looking for this lifetime of happiness. And you are going to supply it for them. And that is also a dangerous thing, because it's just as bad to be around someone who thinks you're everything as it is to be around someone who thinks you're nothing. So those are the two guys, the two nice guys that you have to watch out for. But there's other types of nice guys too. And you say, how am I supposed to differentiate between these? Well, sometimes it takes time. Sometimes you don't have to jump right into things. Other times you just got to use your own discernment. But the third type of nice guy is also a guy that may be looking for a relationship. Well, actually, it is a guy that's looking for a relationship. But it's not like he wants something. It's not like he sees you as like you or nothing. It's not like he has some sort of obsession with you. It's like he is legitimately a nice, friendly guy, but he could see this as something more. He could see you as being in a relationship with him. He has some sort of attraction to you. And you say, ew, but him, I never said you had to like the guy back. But you also don't have to be completely rude to a guy that is this way. If someone's attracted to you, then you should be flattered for that. You should be happy that there are actually people out there in the world that find you attractive and that like your personality and that would want to date you, instead of being like, ew, but him, he's nasty. Like, I'm just gonna label him a creep and put him over here, like, as far out of my life as possible because, like, he actually, like, possibly saw me as an option and I didn't see it back. Like, get over yourselves. Like, you have the full ability to choose who you want to date, but if someone is legitimately nice and sees you as an option, you should take that as a compliment, not as like, he's a creep, he must be a stalker. And then the fourth type of nice guy. This is a guy that is just looking to be your friend. He is legitimately friendly. He is legitimately friendly and legitimately nice. And these are, now you also have the complete ability to choose who your friends are. So I'm not telling you, well, this means you should just like, just let him into your life, make him like your best friend, and you can go everywhere together and experience life's joys together. If you don't want to be somebody's friend, that's okay, but examine why you don't want to be their friend. Is it because you find them annoying and there's some legitimate reason that you don't want to be their friend? Or is it because you think, he's actually being nice to me? Like, the audacity that someone would actually be nice to you. Like, he's actually being nice to me. He must like me or something. He must be a creep and a stalker. Like, don't flatter yourselves. Like, not every guy that walks in the door and sees you is going to be attracted to you. Some of them may be legitimately friendly and nice and may see you as friendly and nice, although if you pull that, they may change their minds. But they may see you as someone who is friendly and they may want to be your friend. It may be nothing more than that. And you're thinking like, yes, that means I can friend zone him. But no, because you got friend zoned first. But be careful running to judgment and basically flattering yourself and thinking that whatever guy is nice to you is automatically after you. Because that is definitely not the case, and in fact, that causes many a mix-up and several tabloid mix-ups as well. But these guys that are your friends, those are the ones that you can really stick with. Because, you know, when you are ready to possibly pursue a relationship, you know, that's when you can get them to help and check to see if someone is legitimate or not. Because, you know, who do guys often go to with problems with women? Yeah, look, I mean, they definitely go to guys, but, I mean, a lot of times they'll go to a close female friend because females understand the mind of females. So wouldn't it make sense then that males understand the mind of males? And we can also do a pretty good job of judging whether a guy is a wolf in sheep's clothing or whether he is actually going to treat you the way you are supposed to be treated. That makes sense. And you can also call us up and get us to do some background checks on a guy, a very thorough background check. Maybe make a few comments like, whatever you do to her, I'll do to you. Or, if you hurt her, I'll disperse my gun rack to all my military friends and come after you. But what I'm saying is, first of all, stay away from all these jerks so that you don't fall under the reputation of all these other girls, and so that guys can't use you as part of their excuse when they're just a bunch of losers. And then when it comes to guys that are acting nice and they're pursuing a relationship, then be careful that they're doing it for the right reasons. And for guys that are just friendly, then don't just shove them out of your life thinking that they want something more. Be careful how you make your judgments. That's all I got.